The Western Illinois University student who's accused of shooting his roommate in September appeared in court in person for the first time here at the McDonough County Courthouse. 18-year-old Kavion Popoulos is currently 2 blocks away inside the McDonough County Jail after pleading not guilty in front of the judge.
Coming up on News 3 Live at 4, an update on the ongoing efforts to save Tri-States Public Radio. How much money still needs to be raised before half of their funding is cut next year? Also, last year's flu broke a 40-year record. Find out why later in the show. And we're finally starting to see that fall weather. Molly Naslund has your 5-day forecast coming up.
And it's hard to find anyone who wants to vote yes on this measure. I went to the local gas station to hear what residents have to say, and everyone I talked to said they want the sale of alcohol.
Beginning with Storm Team 3 coverage, we're learning more about the severe weather that spawned more than 20 tornadoes over the weekend. Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. I'm Devin Brooks. Joining us now is Molly Naslund. She's here to explain what made this such a powerful storm. Molly? Mike says this chair will make a difference for him because it's going to give him the ability to do what he has not been able to do for years. But now, making this possible, will be able to let him talk to people while standing. News 3 will continue to follow how these cuts impact students here on campus. Well, here in a few hours, WIU will host its annual Homecoming Pep Rally tonight at 7 p.m. in Western Hall. Yell Like Hell is an event where students perform routines showing off their school spirit. Also at the event, the Homecoming Royalty Court will be announced. Welcome back. We continue our series into the death investigation of former WIU graduate Tyler Smith, who was found dead in Galesburg last September. Today, we break down more of what the family feels has been a hard time trying to get justice for their son.
And from this fence, the family says a few things could have happened. Tyler would have to walk across these railroad tracks and either come down this concrete incline, or someone may have brought him in a vehicle through these gates if they had the key. Now, if he was still on foot, he would be walking through this canal in water, slipping and falling, and then somehow end up all the way down there in the canal. But it's all of these unanswered questions that still has the family trying to get to the bottom of what happened. Discussions are continuing into the future of the Western Illinois University Quad Cities campus. This all comes after city leaders say WIU has not lived up to its promises for the QC campus and the region. That's why they're calling on a new university to take over.
We begin with 2018 election coverage. Good afternoon. I'm Devin Brooks. We're 5 days away from the general election, and locally, the 93rd District House race has been a highly competitive ticket, where Democrat challenger John Curtis is making his second attempt to unseat incumbent Noreen Hammond. In a News 3 exclusive, both candidates sat down with me to have a one-on-one discussion about their campaign before the election. School officials say this playground went up just toward the end of the school year. A few weeks after, it caught fire. And while people in the community still want answers, they say it's great to see the support. Our coverage of last week's blizzard continues as the News 3 I-Team investigates how Western Illinois University notified students of the storm. And joining us now is Andrew Ball with more on that. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Yeah, it's definitely a day we won't forget. Had a lot of people talking. Andrew, thank you.
And how much fun is that? Well, it's fun like this that's giving these kids something to do in the hot weather, get out the house, but also interact with firefighters. And these big green monkey ball brains, you see, they've all fallen from the tree, but what can they be used for? And as far as more surveillance video goes on this street, other than the Casey's, the family says they asked this business right here, but by the time they checked their cameras, they didn't see Tyler on them. Now, across the street, there's another building, which at the time, they didn't have any cameras. Now they do. The family says if Tyler would have kept walking down this street, he would have made contact with that fence and would have had to go around.
City's water system.
Yeah, city officials say this happens all the time, but should residents be concerned? We are following some breaking news right now out of New Jersey. An armed standoff is underway near Princeton University. The school says police have a man surrounded at the restaurant just across the street from the university. No injuries have been reported. It's unclear if the gunman has any connection to the school. The university and 2 of its buildings near the scene are being evacuated. Princeton is on spring break right now, so classes are not in session. Police are urging people to stay away from the area. Panera Bread restaurant.
Macomb City officials say they look forward to the opening of the family shelter, especially to help people who have fallen on hard times. The shooter is still at large right now. That's what we're being told. Just 1 student injured, and as of right now, we don't know the extent of their injuries. The latest update is that the shooting suspect, the WIU freshman, 18-year-old Kavion Poplis, has turned himself in Chicago. Take a look at video as deputies walked him into the building Tuesday. He held his head down coming in, but during the hearing, he shook his head in denial to accusations told by police and the state's attorney's office. The judge took up a motion to possibly reduce Poplis' bond, which is set at $1 million, but it was denied. Also during the hearing, police released the name of the other student they say Poplis shot, Marion Hargrove, who is still recovering. A WIU detective was first to take the stand as he gave his account after interviewing Hargrove, Poplis, and several other people involved. Police say Poplis was having issues with Hargrove over girls earlier that evening. The girls were with Poplis and Hargrove on a bus, but once one of the girls felt threatened by Poplis, they all got off. The detective said that's when Poplis told the group, "Y'all are falling into my trap." A couple hours later, the resident assistant in Thompson Hall tried to separate Poplis and Hargrove into different rooms, but they both declined. Hargrove later went back to the RA and said threats were being made by Poplis. Poplis then walked up on the conversation, and from there, police say he yelled, "Why did you do that?" Back in the students' dorm room, police say Hargrove pushed Poplis, and then Poplis pulled a gun out of his backpack, shooting the victim 5 times. Police said they later found the gun in a wooded area outside of Thompson Hall. And Poplis' family was in the courtroom during the hearing. His mom was very emotional. She didn't want to go on camera, but she accuses the RA of lying about their side of the story, but she wouldn't explain further. A pretrial hearing is set for January 5th. Hargrove is expected to make a full recovery. In Macomb, reporting for News 3, I'm Devin.
I believe we should keep a local police department.
The future of policing in Colchester is unknown as city officials try to decide what law enforcement presence will serve and protect the area.
I feel like that we need to get a new chief appointed as soon as possible.
Since the end of August, the Colchester Police Department has been without a police chief, leaving city officials scrambling about what to do.
Just because we don't have a chief doesn't mean we need to just look at disbanding it.
Newly elected Alderman Mike Eddy says if the officials decided to keep the Colchester Police Department, a new chief would need to be hired. But if aldermen vote to disband the department, city leaders would have to create a contract with the McDonough County Sheriff's Office.
They need to listen to the public. They need to listen to the voters.
Here is one of the Colchester police cars, which sits here all during the day. The only time this vehicle would come out is during the evening and overnight. So that leaves little to no police presence if something were to happen during the day.
When the schools are filling up and when the schools are empty, let's get cops out there.
We really need to have more coverage.
Eddy says the department currently has 5 part-time police officers who only patrol at night. He says after the chief resigned, a sheriff's deputy was assigned to the area until Sheriff Nick Pettigrew pulled the contract with Colchester. But residents still want something done quick.
This is not something I want to be reactive to. Some kid got hit or killed, and then we decide, hey, we should put a police officer there. Should have been there from the get-go.
We've tried asking questions to the police committee chairman, Kevin Bloomfield, but he's not been willing to talk much about the issue.
Things have been difficult, yes, and we're trying to get over that.
Residents like Kay Mowen say officials need to put the safety of the community first.
I think they just all need to work together.
People are saying their final goodbyes to a family-owned restaurant in Rockford after nearly 30 years in business. 13 News reporter Devin Brooks finds out why some customers say eating Chinese food in Rockford may never be the same.
Imperial Palace.
A local restaurant is serving its last meals.
You know, I remember when you guys first started coming here and he was so little.
Imperial Palace is closing its doors after 27 years of business in Rockford.
Service is great. The food's great. I usually get the chicken and broccoli, so I guess I'll have to search out another good restaurant.
It's kind of hard to close.
It is.
The door been doing for so long.
So 4 egg rolls total.
Owners Paul and Karen Lai opened up the Chinese restaurant back in the early 90s, quickly turning into a family business.
My parents opened this restaurant when I was 6 years old. He was 5 years old, so we've been running around this place forever.
But after losing too many cooks, the Lai family says it's time to close the business.
We've tried to train several new chefs, but it's just been really difficult.
There are customers here that say they've been coming for more than 20 years, and they say there's a lot they're going to miss.
It's going to hurt the heart, but the lunchtime lunch specials are the best. So just really we'll miss the size, portions, and the atmosphere.
And after years of service,
We appreciate you coming to see us one last time.
the biggest blessing the Lai family says is the support from the community.
We just appreciate them so much over these years, the support that we've gotten, and just it's been awesome.
Spent a lot of years getting to know a lot of people, and now it's just gonna be gone.
In Rockford,
This is sad. I know. I'm tearful.
for your 13 Weather Authority, I'm Devin Brooks.
Well, our latest numbers that we know so far, here they are. We're going to put them on your screen. We know that the Chicago Tribune has reported that Rauner has conceded, and to Pritzker. Looks like they are applauding and clapping. It's probably because of Pritzker's race. Our crew there, we know that it's going to be a late night for all of those folks because the 93rd district race has been very tight throughout the entire campaign, and it's one race that most people are watching. Hey, if you get that Mega Millions ticket, make sure you share that with all of us.
Oh yeah, I'll try to, Nathan. I'll make sure that's my priority.
Well, coming up next in 2 minutes here on Live at 4. Plus, in just a minute, you'll want to stick around for a little boy going viral for his singing sensation inside a Walmart. It's a must-see. Oh, yeah. But with this cold still sticking around, people have to be careful with the ice. I had woke up yesterday and walked out and I said, brr. It is outside, though. It's downright cold.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shock to the system.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all for us today. But we are online all the time. Stay up to date with us, news3wiu.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Just search our handle, News3WIU. You can also search for us on YouTube and subscribe.
Thank you for